for him here, but he's only got eyes for goal, Perez. Everything but the finish.
Well, he looked smart and bright, didn't he? But it's a nice sharp run, isn't it? Committing defenders and getting beyond them. Made it look easy once he got into the box, but his finish was poor. It's a toe poke. It's easy for Kepa. Once you get there, you've got to get more power in the strike, but good footwork by him.
His first team debut in the last league game of last season, Carlos Perez. So a late sub against Eibar. A few of these names might be familiar to you if you watched our UEFA Youth League coverage last season when Chelsea beat Barcelona in the final, in the semi-final, I should say, in Neon. Classic penalty shootout. Would have penalties here if this game finishes as a draw, remember. Here's De Jong. This is still with games against Reading and Salzburg and Mönchengladbach to come. Here's Perez again. And again, the shot straight at Kepa.
Yeah, again, no ferocity really in the shot. It's quite easy for Kepa. Aspilicueta gets across here quite well and forces the ball into a wide position, but again, typical of Barcelona, the approach plays decent. Do you know what? I just don't think he strikes through the ball here. It really just, we said it was a toe poke before. This time as well, it's more of a hit at the ball instead of right through it. You've got to put power. When it's on an angle, you've got to put power into it to beat the goalkeeper. What we say about goalkeepers not getting beat at their near post. Well, the one thing that beats them is power.
Chelsea on the back foot in the opening 11 minutes of the second half. Mount.
And everything seems to be breaking down on us at the moment. We're not getting anywhere near the goal. Midfield has been dominated by Barcelona in many respects. And although we've not got going, even when we are in possession, we've not looked anywhere near as bright and as sharp as we did in the first half.
Pedro can do something about that now. That is up from distance.
Yeah, it's on target, isn't it? But again, easy for the goalkeeper. And once you pinch the ball like that, you just expect a little bit more from Pedro, but no complaints. If he gets hold of it well, probably flies into the top corner, but not this time.
Jody Morris out there having a conversation with Frank Lampard. Of course, Jody's got his own history against Barcelona. He was a part of that dramatic quarter-final in 2000 when Barca went through 6-4 on aggregate after extra time, after the second leg. Camp now. Alonso backpedaling here. Showing too much of it by Malcolm. Here he is again, finding Rafinha. Comes for a shot from the edge of the box here, which is well saved, but it's come back to Rafinha. Flags up though.
Well, again, Kepa this time with a better save. It's well struck, it's on target, it's towards that bottom corner. Kepa gets down really well. And Rafinha just offside, but excellent play, isn't it, from Barcelona? Good 1- and 2-touch football. It's a decent enough effort, but be smart by Kepa. He'll be pleased with that, Kepa. You know, we often say about goalkeepers, you know, he hasn't been involved as he pre-season. They need a bit of time, don't they, to get back into it. But he'll be pleased with those saves that he's made in this second period.
Abraham, great flick on. The flag went up just as it looked as though Pulisic was going to get through. More changes are going to happen now for Chelsea. Olivier Giroud, Kennedy and Ross Barkley all coming on. First number to go up is that of Christian Pulisic. How's he done for you today, Clive?
Well, we haven't seen a great deal of him in the second half, but I'd have to say his first half performance was excellent. And it looks like we're going to get a lot out of this young lad. and he can only get better for me. I think he's looked bright, sharp, effective. I've enjoyed watching him.
Yeah, Giroud will take the place of the goal scorer, Tammy Abraham. Well, Tammy's done what he was there to do.
Well, 2 chances, puts one away, 50% record. That's more than good enough at this stage of the pre-season. He's done really well, Tammy Abraham. I think his link-up play was good, his running in behind was excellent. His work rate was decent too. So, just gives us another option, which is fabulous.
Mason Mount not quite as involved as he was on Friday.
Not quite as much, but still a big part, I think, to play.
And Jason were talking about it at half-time. It's going to be fascinating when Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Callum Hudson-Odoi are back fit again. So many options in midfield for Frank Lampard. So much space here for Carlos Perez. Bit indecisive. To tee up a teammate. Good shot, well held again. Rafinha denied by Kepa, who's really on form.
Another good save by Kepa, isn't it? But again, one I thought he probably could save because the actual strike isn't ferocious. I mean, it's decent, it's on target, but he's not really leathered it and given Kepa no chance with the pace of the shot. Good defending initially as well by Azpilicueta, just to slow him down and force him into making a pass which we could hopefully deal with.
Jorginho played for an hour now. Still Tammy Abraham's goal 10 minutes before the end of the first half, dividing the teams. Here's Ross Barkley, who impressed as a substitute on Friday. Involved with England in the Nations League at the end of last season. Kovacic knew what he did. It was a half-hearted attempt at an apology to try and get away without conceding a free kick.
It was difficult, wasn't it? He put both hands on his back, goes to ground, it's always going to be a free kick, but it's nice to see the enthusiasm when we start pressing. Pedro going, Giroud going, then through midfield, Kovacic trying to squeeze as well, and you've got to do that.
So he's touched back in field for Pedro. Won't do Chelsea any harm to just keep the ball amongst themselves for a minute or two and dampen down the Barca enthusiasm.
Yeah. Not at all. You know, good to see it, especially in their half of the pitch. You know, they're going to want to try and push up and squeeze the play, but while we're in possession, I'm a bit tentative about that. That's good space.
Barkley. Alonso. Kennedy. Worth a go for Kennedy. Oh, the deflection made it a really good save by Neto, actually. Came off Jean-Claire Todibo, and the goalkeeper had to adjust his position in an instant.
Good save. Good, sharp, smart save, but Kennedy does the right thing. Again, Giroud keeps the ball alive around the box. How often have we said that in the last seasons just gone? But Kennedy, spot on. Take the shot on, try and bend it into that far corner. Deflection, good save by Neto. Maybe that's the start of the second half that we need. A little bit more anger in front of goal. Gets the adrenaline rushing.
There's Carlos Perez, seen plenty of it since he came on at the break. Rafinha. Semedo out for Malcolm. Barcelona on Saturday played Vissel Kobe. Here, Andres Iniesta, Podolski, and another former Barca youth player, Sergei Samper, all playing their football for Kobe, or right at the bottom of J1 actually. Problem here for Mateo Kovacic, or Jorginho, beg his pardon. Chelsea Reading at the Medeski on Sunday, and Red Bull Salzburg and Borussia Mönchengladbach. Barcelona are also going to play Arsenal in Barcelona on the 4th of August. Then they play Napoli twice in the USA on the 7th and on the 10th. La Liga season kicking off the weekend after the Premier League, and also starting away to Athletic Bilbao. Also building up to that trip to Old Trafford on Sunday the 11th. And the small matter of the Super Cup against Liverpool a couple of days later. It's amazing how the
fantastic
fixture computer works.
Well, I suppose the Super Cup is inevitable, but when we're playing Man United, I think it's a great time to play for me. Start of the season. You never know. We often talk about games at the beginning, games at Christmas, great games at Easter, strange results. I wouldn't say us beating them is a strange result, but I think if you want to get a positive from it, play them early on.
And as for the Super Cup, it's not a bad time to play Liverpool, bearing in mind Sadio Mane's season 18-19 finished on Sunday. And Firmino and Salah were both playing all throughout the summer too. Rakitic having a go from distance, never really threatening Kepa.
Kepa's been quite comfortable with the saves that he's made. Made good saves. That's a good ball.
Kennedy. Alonso. Pedro there with him. Pedro's ball in toward Kennedy. Blocked just as he was about to get the shot in. Might be able to get one in now though, Kennedy, and missed it.
Had more time on the ball once. The defender missed it. I thought the referee's going to blow up for a slight push on from Kennedy, but he didn't. And I think that's when Kennedy had time. He had 1 against 1 then, and had an opportunity maybe to drop his shoulder and get a shot in from closer range, but wild swing with his right foot, not his strongest. And we saw the result.
Shown by Rafinha. But fair tackle according to the referee.
It's a good challenge by Kurt Zouma, isn't it? So good in those areas, Barcelona, tight midfield areas that maybe with no space to play, and somehow they still find the pass.
Barkley. Kennedy to his right. This is he. Again, maybe opening up for a shot. Wanted to try and find Giroud instead, and maybe got caught betwixt in between.
Yeah, I think he did. I mean, I think he's seen Giroud trying to peel off to the far post, but Pedro's in a great position. He could have knocked it square, might have given him a better option. Almost tried to force that into Giroud, and obviously got the weight of the pass wrong. Again, it's a different position for Kennedy, right-hand side. We're not used to seeing that. We talked about him playing higher up the pitch the other day. Talked about him playing as a more striking option, perhaps, and getting in field and get closer to the centre forward. And looks a better player for him, but at the moment, maybe just feeling his way, playing on the different side of the field and having to maybe make choices of crosses or shots.
From Barca once more, Rafinha again. Taking away from Fikayo Tomori. It's Kennedy. Lovely first touch. He is going to have to accept, one would think, a role as that kind of utility player if he's going to be around the first team, because you think in the wide positions, Pedro, Willian, Pulisic, Hudson-Odoi, probably all ahead of him.
Well, possibly from what we've seen so far. We obviously know the history of the other ones, but Pulisic has certainly looked bright and sharp, so I tend to feel Kennedy might be the extra choice, but he might have to be very, very patient with his opportunities.
It's a lovely ball from Barkley out to Marcos Alonso. Alonso in behind here, firing a low cross, looking for Kennedy, cleared away by Longley.
I just think small things like that, I think Kennedy needs to get across his marker, to be honest. I think he stands back and waits. I think he's an out-and-out goal scorer. You get across your marker and gamble. He didn't quite do that there.
More changes upcoming. Batshuayi, Drinkwater, Bakayoko and Zappacosta all coming on.
Of course, we know the aspect of playing pre-season is all about fitness, and these players are now playing up to the 70-minute mark, certainly getting more and more, I guess, as the pre-season rolls on. This time span will move even closer to the 90 minutes, but so we expect the changes. Also, the players coming on need more time as well. It's a balancing act for Frank.
Zappacosta, 20 minutes in pre-season, usually from the substitutes bench. He takes the captain's place. 70 minutes in the bank for Dave.
As well, to manage his body correctly. He's so enthusiastic. He's infectious with all the other players, and I think one thing about Azpilicueta, he just manages his body because he's getting to that age now where perhaps, you know, he can't do 90 minutes time and time again. He wants to because he's that type of guy, but it's managing it and it's understanding how your body feels, and I can understand him coming off for sure. Looking at the formation, see if that's a slight change of things with Batshuayi and Giroud up there now, actually playing with a two up top. So we're going to go possibly with a diamond, maybe. 4 at the back, diamond, 2 up front. See, that was an opportunity for me, for Kennedy. Straight away, we've put 2 players up top. They're both in good positions. He's checked back. He's not under any pressure. He could have delivered with his left foot there. Straight into the box. Give the likes of Giroud, Batshuayi an opportunity. And maybe you'll catch Barcelona out on the back foot.
So Kepa, the only player out there who started. Or Kennedy with another good chance. There was no flag that time either.
Yeah, poor contact. You know, I think he might have been aware that Neto was coming out, maybe to batter him. Good running from deep, great ball as well, not under pressure. Ross Barkley to deliver, and delivers really well. Just the faintest of touch needed, find the bottom corner.
Really important interception from Zappacosta.
I think he got away with that, Zappacosta, didn't he? He's trying to hold a high line with the other back 4 players. And of course, as we said earlier, he's quick, you know, so he can cover quickly. But I think he just got the right touch there.
There's Jean-Claire Todibo. And a couple of appearances last season after coming in January from Toulouse, able to prevent the ball going behind for what is Chelsea's 3rd corner of the game.
Corners and free kicks have been short, few and far between, haven't they? We haven't seen too many, but it's something we need to practice in a sort of match situation.
Barkley in, Alonso got something on it. He would love to score in this game. Marcos Alonso, if you were with us at half-time, he'll have been hearing about the family connections. Him and his granddad, once of Real Madrid, his dad, a Barcelona league winner. Barkley in near post for Zuma that time, and Zuma just caught Rafinha.
Well, we talk about practice for corners, and there's a good example. 2 not very well hit. The second one was actually worse than the first one. Doesn't make the right contact, Ross Barkley, and that comes out as slightly disappointing for me, because although we're not the 3rd game in pre-season, you'd have to say that by now they should be better.
Long late. Too much enthusiasm for Bakayoko on Ivan Rakitic.
It's nice to see it, isn't it? Bakayoko's been a bit lacklustre for me at times, and you see him squeezing in, pushing in, and it's a poor one. A bit of spark gone from Barcelona at the moment. I wonder if we're wearing them down a little bit with the extra bit of fitness, perhaps, although they changed most of their players. It's hard to believe they're getting tired.
Drink water.
What's disappointing, I think, for someone like Giroud's come on, is nothing's been put in the box for him to have a go at, you know? There's no PK there to give him physically, and TT as well, who would probably relish a physical challenge against him. He looks the type who will probably dominate any of the defenders at the back for Barcelona, and really not been given him much of an opportunity.
Now, Kurt Zuma's been hurt here. What sort of a challenge was that from Rafinha?
It's a poor challenge, but he's fallen awkwardly, and I don't think it was from the physical challenge. I think it's the way he fell. I'm just worried here that Kurt actually knows he's done something bad here. He's just staying a little bit motionless on the floor, which is a worry.
Yeah, he's already had one serious injury in his Chelsea career, of course.
Well, thankfully he's back up on his feet. I think he probably just fell awkwardly there. Yes, felt that one.
Captain's armband on. Frank Lampard has been pretty explicit in stating that he wants Zuma to be part of the squad next season. And thankfully, Big Kurt is okay. Screw that one round the corner, did well.
Good little touch though, isn't it? Just opens the game out. You know, it's many would say a bit of a gamble, but I think he's done well there. Costa's pass is poor. Good challenge.
Alonso. Good ball as well. Chance for a second here. Batshuayi. He couldn't find the back of the net nor work it to Giroud.
Well, this is saved by Neto, but again, you know, coming at that angle, we said it earlier on. If you're going to shoot from an angle, get some power on it. Couldn't quite sort his feet out Batshuayi to get the strike away properly. A lovely play initially.
So Chelsea and Barcelona attracting the masses here. As I said earlier, we are about 25 kilometres from the centre of Tokyo, more than 50,000 inside the Saitama Stadium. It is a familiar name to you. England played Sweden in a World Cup group game here in 2002. That's the representation from Joe Cole. Ashley Cole also played in that game. It's the home of the Urawa Red Diamonds. Zuma.
No zipping Barcelona at all at the moment in closing down. They're just going as individuals. They've lost their momentum.
Giroud did well. Found Kennedy. Barkley decided to play to Batshuayi rather than go for goal himself. I think Batshuayi might have been surprised by that. Needs drink water. Giroud. Good run from Zappacosta. Lost very, very deep. Picked up by Barkley.
Not sure if he meant that, Zappacosta, but Not a bad ball if he was just retaining possession because Giroud was out of the area.
Kennedy. All of a sudden, Chelsea looking the more likely to get the second goal of the game. Barcelona had a strong start to the second half, but Chelsea held firm.
Sloppy, long zone.
And here's Rafinha. And that was pretty sloppy as well.
They've got away with that a little bit, but it's just sort of significant the way we've seen Barcelona in the last 5 or 10 minutes. A little bit lethargic, just lost their way a little bit. Maybe the substitutions have caused them more problems than our substitutions have caused us. So we have to take that into account. The flow of the game has gone a little bit. Maybe getting towards the last 10 minutes, of course. And there's an advantage for us here if we can get a second.
Alonso, Barkley. Over his shoulder to see how much time he had, and then found the corner of the net. Brilliant goal from Ross Barkley. Should be enough to win the game for Chelsea. He's been a cut above since he came on, and he's made it Chelsea 2, Barcelona 0.
Yeah, he's got himself into some good positions, hasn't he, Ross Barkley, and used the ball pretty well. But I tell you what, this is a great finish. I'm not sure if there's a deflection on it because Neto really should have done better. But the build-up play was good. First ball in, the early ball in there by Alonso was excellent. Not too sure what part of the goal Neto was covering. Be easier to see from behind here. Ross Barkley does well, just shifts the ball onto his left foot. That's a good finish. Well, maybe Neto wasn't at fault. Defensively, you'd have to say Barcelona were poor. But it's a good finish, Ross Barkley. Should take us on to the win.
Well, he's been watching Mason Mount get the nod in the last couple of games from the start, Ross Barkley, and he looks as though he's up for the challenge.
Well, he does, and that's your answer, isn't it? You know, if you see somebody else getting the nod just before you and you play in a similar position, then the answer is go out there and put the ball in the back of the net. He's certainly done that from that position that Mason Mount was playing. He'll enjoy the role as well, Ross Barkley. He understands the role. There's a little bit more freedom for him. Got 2 good feet, as we've already seen.
And we mentioned this, didn't we? We were talking about Mason on Friday, but the same applies to Ross. Being coached by Frank Lampard and being a central midfielder has got to be just what you want.
Just made in heaven for you, isn't it, when you're a youngster coming through, but not necessarily a youngster as Ross Barkley is. But you know, once you've got the experience that Ross has already got, you know, to learn as close as he can off of the likes of Frank Lampard. Don't forget Jody Morris in that as well, another midfield player who can certainly give him a few tips.
It's a great turn from Rafinha. Malcolm's got Nelson Semedo in support. Came back to Rafinha. Rafinha moved it on one more. It's Carlos Perez. Forced away from goal by Zappacosta and Kennedy.
Yeah, Kennedy's done well to help out his defender, but he's got it back. Perez, but he's done well, because initially I thought his first touch was poor.
Malcolm. Ball in toward Rafinha. Tomori, did he get a touch on it?
It's a decent little clip into the box, isn't it? Sort of hopeful more than anything, but the 2 defenders did just enough to stop Barcelona getting any attempt on goal.
Rafinha's been the most impressive of the substitutes who came on at half-time for Barcelona.
He's looked good on the ball, to be honest. He's made some good runs. He's quick. Just wonder about his decision-making when it comes to the final straw, but certainly it has looked effective.
Carlos Perez.
I think that's a clue, you know. about Perez, you know, with Zappacosta, he's learned quite quickly, Zappacosta. You don't have to go tight to him. Just stay off of him. Don't let him run in behind. That's what he wants to do. Make him pass. That's not the best part of his game, making those decisions. If you commit yourself, he'll go past you. And I think Zappacosta's learned that.
Minutes for Barca to score twice at least if they want to force a penalty shootout. But even at the start of the half, when they did have a flurry of chances, there was never a save that you thought, well, Kepa's had to work really hard to keep that out. And they were all pretty comfortable for him.
Well, they were. I mean, you know, we've got to recognise we're playing against Barcelona, whether it be the B team or the A team. But, you know, they're quite capable of creating opportunities all day long. And I think when Kepa has to make saves, you've got to understand that sometimes he's not going to do that. You know, it's not going to work for him. But he did what he had to do, Kepa, and I thought he did it really, really well.
Kennedy impressing again here.
Good strength by Kennedy. Took a little bit of a knock, didn't he? But
started it right back there. He's picked up a bit of an injury by the looks of it.
One player for me doesn't quite look 100% fit as well. But he's working hard to try and get there for sure.
Didn't play 90 minutes in the Premier League for Newcastle in 2019.
From Chelsea's perspective, a win's a win. We always say it, don't we, pre-season, it doesn't matter too much. But just breeds confidence in the dressing room. Also, not giving a goal away is important. Keep a clean sheet as best we possibly can.
Here's Barkley.
Yeah, that's why he does him no favours here, Ross Barkley. He just jogs forward. If he makes the run, then Ross Barkley's got a choice. He either passes or takes up the space that he's left. But that's why he doesn't do anything at all to give him some help there.
Kennedy still feeling that whack he took a minute ago.
Look like he just took a wrap across the ankles just here. There it is. It seemed too important. I mean, I think that adrenaline rush and drive, the fact that you can get yourself into the box and maybe score a goal, kept him going initially. Obviously the pain was there, and there's a man who seems to be enjoying himself, which is good to see at this stage of a game against any Barcelona side.
Played 11 times against Barcelona competitively, Frank Lampard. Won 3, lost 3, drew 5. Scored 3 goals, 2 of them in Barcelona. That brilliant one from the dead ball line. And also remember the assist he gave for Ramirez in 2012. Andy Newton on the bench that night, as he is this evening. Thumbs up. Means Kennedy should be okay.
Yeah, it's obviously nothing too serious, just a knock and wrap across the ankles that you initially feel. With a couple of minutes to go. It's not an injury probably that could get any worse, so I should think Kennedy will just continue. Unless of course he feels he needs to come off, but it looks like he's going to go back on.
Time running out for Barca here. Of course they'll say that this was a useful exercise in building fitness.
Of course. Well, it is, you know, realistically. We always say the scoreline doesn't matter at this stage, but...
You say that when you lose the game, though, really.
Well, you do, but I think when it's your first game, it really isn't important.
Here's Nelson Semedo, who's got caught in the traffic.
But I think from Chelsea's perspective, you know, we're a few games into our pre-season, so we are building up momentum, and winning games is becoming more and more important, if only just for team morale. Just stood on his foot, I think.
Yeah, what you want to see is progression, and there's definite signs of that, particularly today. Painful one, that for Malcolm.
Nothing intentional, just too quick for Danny Drinkwater, and Danny just stamps on his foot. But again, free kicks for or against, always good to have these situations, especially when you're 2-0 up with a minute to go. So Barcelona with a chance maybe to force Kepa into some sort of save, and also a chance for us to organise our wall and get things right.
Rakitic, not one of his better efforts.
No, back to the drawing board, or should I say back to the training ground, and try it a few more times.
31 now, Ivan Rakitic. Well over 100 caps for Croatia. Actually played his under-21 football for Switzerland in a fantastic World Cup last year. Barkley. Ricochet almost favoured Olivier Giroud there.
Ross was in two minds there. I guess one of those situations where he's got to take control of himself and keep going forward and make the pass simpler.
Rakitic, bit of space. Ivan Rakitic, it's a beauty. What a goal from the Croatian. Barcelona do get their name on the score sheet, and in some style too.
Well, sometimes you have to hold your hands up and say, do you know what? That's a proper goal. And from a proper player, we were just talking about him, 100 caps plus, terrific career, 31 years of age. He has been a super player over the years, but that is top quality. You know, if someone like Suarez or Messi had done this, would have said, yeah, we understand. He doesn't get a massive amount of goals, Rakitic, or the deeper lying midfield player, especially in recent years, but give him this sort of space. Timing of the strike, absolutely perfect, and no chance for Kepa.
Minimal backlift, only needed one touch. One. Worth having another look.
A bit disappointed with Tomori when you see it from that angle, just ducked away slightly from it. Maybe could have stood his ground and taken the blow, but hey, take nothing away from this guy. That's a great strike of a football. You know, as you said, Matt, short backlift, but it's all about timing. You know, we have to say someone tried to almost take the leather off the ball, if they made a leather these days, but you know what? When you time it to perfection, as you did there, very difficult to stop.
Hope the referee's not thinking of adding on 30 seconds for every substitution in the game. We'll be here all night. Back Schwei. Up to Giroud.
As well there, Giroud. At one stage I didn't think he was favourite, but he gets in front of his defender.
That is that. Chelsea have beaten Barcelona in Japan. Worthwhile warm-up for Frank Lampard's men. Goals in the first half from Abraham, the second from that man Ross Barkley. Rakitic got one back late on for Barcelona, but Clive, a good Chelsea performance overall.
I think so, and I think what we look for is that improvement. Maybe we always talk about the improvement in fitness, but the improvement of how we're going to be playing and what we're looking at come pre-season. You know, we've seen the formation today that we think will be the start once the season gets underway. But it's also good to see players coming in and just playing a similar sort of role. So, yeah, always good to get a win as well.
Final score at the Saitama Stadium then. Chelsea 2, Barcelona 1.
Well, that was good, wasn't it? A couple of great goals in that second half, and thankfully, Jason, the Rakitic one was too late to take us to penalties or anything beyond. A highly secret conversation going on there with Kurt Zuma. Mustn't let anyone know what that is. But that was good, wasn't it?
Very good. Good workout. It's always good to win. Most important thing is, though, the performance. First half, excellent. Second half, Barcelona came out the traps and clearly had a bit of a telling off, in all honesty. And they started very brightly. Kepa, we're going to see in a second, had one or two smart saves to make. Then we weathered the storm, one or two more substitutions come on. Look, we were the better side over the 90 minutes, deserved to win it. And I think Frank will be really happy with what he's seen. There's been a number of really good performances. Ross Barkley off the bench again. I felt impressed. Kovacic first half, Mount linking up with one or two around him. Tammy's goal. It would have been lovely to have had a clean sheet. Not to be, but onwards and upwards. It's a nice way to leave Japan.
Indeed it is, for coming back home, and then Reading on Sunday, Austria, Germany, and then Old Trafford, Istanbul. And here for the homecoming, the first game for Frank at the Bridge will be Leicester here on the second Saturday of the Premier League season. But lots to enjoy there. Let me hit you with a cliche, much as I don't normally like them. What has Frank learnt from that game?
Well, he's learnt that Tammy and Mason and certainly Pulisic can play together. I thought first half was excellent. It's the first time we've seen those two. Obviously, it's Pulisic's first start. I quite